Hey folks, so a really quick video today. I'm off to get my oil changed here just during a long lunch. Nothing special about that, but Razor 1973 on the Sweet Speed forums. He was all kind of curious about how a T8 versus a T6 would handle miles per gallon on his commute, which is, he said, about 40 to 50 miles, about 80% highway, 20% city. He lives in Miami, and he says traffic's awful, that kind of stuff. So I thought, why not just go ahead and do kind of a real-world test here? So what we're going to do is I'm going to drive surface streets, about 4-ish miles to my favorite oil change place, get my oil changed, and grab some lunch, and then drive 30-odd miles on the highway, and the last few miles on surface streets, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. Now, initially, when just starting the car, of course, for those of you who already have a T8, you know this. For those who don't, this is how it works. The car just boots in hybrid mode. And so as I'm rolling along here, I'm basically not using any gas at all. And I'll continue to do that for the surface street mode. That being said, on the highway, Razor 1973 sounds like he's quite the lead foot. So we will go ahead and flip it into power mode. Effectively, when cruising, it shouldn't really be any different at all. I guess the major thing is that it will not actually shut off the motor if you're doing some sort of substantial deceleration, going downhill, stuck in traffic and stuff. You really don't want to use power mode when you're going through city traffic. In fact, if you really want to be anal retentive and manage your battery, which I do sometimes, if you know you have some traffic stuff coming up, I will actually go ahead into the control panel and hold the battery and save it for later. In this case, about 50 miles should be about right-ish to go ahead and burn through the battery, and presumably that's his commute back and forth to work. And then you charge again, and there you go. So anyway, hang on tight. We'll go ahead and do this loop and see what the results are at the end. Alrighty, first leg of our journey complete, 4.2 miles so far, effective miles per gallon, infinite, because we haven't even used any gas at all. And let's get our oil changed. Kind of curious, how many of you do oil changes like on a brand new car to kind of get the metal bits out of your engine? Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, yourself?
Good to see you.
Likewise, how have you been?
Not bad, not bad.
Oil change for you today?
Yes, please.
Something to drink? Did you bring your own filter?
I did.
Okay, perfect.
Because you guys don't have them.
No, we do not.
I also brought a magnetic oil plug.
Oh, perfect.
We're installing, and we're kind of doing, I'm only at 5,000 miles, but kind of new car, kind of
Definitely.
get it clean.
Yeah, definitely.
And cool.
I like the wheels and tires they put on it. It looks awesome on it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think they're awesome.
No worries. Did you want to see if the gasket that's on here for the next one? Or?
I don't really care, whichever you want to do.
Save up for like an emergency or something like that on there for you.
Cool, thank you.
And we'll get you started in a few minutes, all right?
Great, thanks.
Is this one dual charged or just turbocharged?
So it's both supercharged and turbocharged.
It's dual charged, right?
And then also it's the
got a
plug-in
hybrid.
electric hybrid system, right?
Cool.
So actually I was kind of curious about that. What are your thoughts? So like normally for an oil change I would warm the car up really good to get the oil kind of light and make it come. But on the other hand, I just drove from home without using the gasoline engine at all. So all the oil's in the oil pan. So like which is better? Like
That's one thing that it kind of throws me off about hybrids is the oil. You usually want it to be hot because you get a better drain, right?
Sure.
But I mean, manufacturer, I don't know.
I just don't know what the answer for that is.
You don't really have any control over the motor.
Well, I mean, I do a little bit. I can drive carefully and just keep the motor off. And I just drove here from home, So it hasn't. The internal combustion engine hasn't run since yesterday. So
really?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I drove like 5 miles here. It's no problem. So It's just kind of funny,
Yeah.
different. All right, oil change done. Let's go do our little test loop. Now again, Mr. Razor 1973 said that he definitely expects to use power mode on the freeway. So let's do exactly that. Fire it up. Going to power mode, the suspension kind of squats down a little bit, the air suspension, the shocks stiffen up a little bit, and of course the engine turns on. And I do have quite a bit of battery left, about 3/4, a little more than 3/4 of the battery capacity left. It should go ahead and keep on kind of burning that down to a minimum of about 1/4 or 1/8 of the battery, even though we're in power mode. You know, essentially power mode, you're going to give you all the beans whenever you twitch on the go pedal, which should of course then just use some battery power out the back wheels, as opposed to later on when you burn the whole battery up, then the system will essentially maintain a minimum capacity in the battery, like usually about 1/8 is what I see, about 1/8 of the capacity. I guess that's probably 1 or 2 kilowatts worth. So it has power to go ahead and give you that oomph, but then it'll regenerate that back as you're cruising along. You know, unless you're doing the Pikes Peak hill climb, you're basically always going to have that 400 horsepower available when you go ahead and stomp on it. It is a rainy day, so it could be could be better, but good enough for government work. Gotta say, I love this freeway on-ramp. I used to live right next to here, and again, it's raining, and we're at a big Volvo, but what a freeway on-ramp. All right, that being said, we are just gonna get into traffic and set the cruise control for 5 over the limit, and put in our 30 odd miles here. After emerging onto the freeway there like that, we are up to, or down to from infinite, I guess, about 60 miles per gallon. We'll see how this goes. Cruise control set to 70, and there we go. All right, folks, merging off the freeway now. We're up to 36.5 miles, averaging 35 miles per gallon. We got about 1/3 of the battery left. We're going to do a little bit of expressway driving and then back to full-on surface streets. And when we get to the full-on surface streets, we'll go ahead and kick it back to normal hybrid mode to go ahead and use up the last of our battery. And we'll see what we get. Okay, well that concludes the congested expressway part of the program. Definitely could have been better. Overall miles per gallon dropped down to 34 miles per gallon. We've now gone 41.5 miles. Got about 5 miles to go to get home. Probably stop off and get some lunch along the way. We're going to throw it back into hybrid mode now, because this, again, the standard mode when you just boot the vehicle, right? And we're just going to go ahead and probably be mostly EV all the way home. We have just over a quarter of the battery left. And when we get within like really a mile from home, I'll actually go one step further. I'll go into pure mode. Normally in hybrid mode, it saves about 1/8 of the battery at the end for when you want to punch it and really get that 400 horsepower to accelerate or pass or whatever. When you go into pure mode, it will do its best efforts to stay in EV even more than normal and allow you to access that last 1/8 of the battery. So I usually like to do that when I'm within a mile or two of home, to go ahead and just let the internal combustion engine cool down and be able to roll into the garage without all that extra heat and wear and tear on the engine. All right, we've made it just a hop and a skip away from home without firing up the ICE engine coming across surface streets. We're down to about 1/8 of the battery, but I'm going to actually throw it into pure mode now to make sure it doesn't turn on, because we are almost home, and we're going to simulate Razor 1973's horrible Miami traffic by going through the drive-through line here at McDonald's and get some lunch.
Hi, my name is Emma. Can I help you?
Hi, Emma. Can I get a #1 meal, please?
With a Coke?
With a Coke, yes, thank you. And also a 6-piece McNuggets with hot mustard.
Okay. For the total is 1374. The next window, please. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, folks, we are home. To recap, we went 47.5 miles, and we got 38.5 miles per gallon. Now, to handicap that a little bit, I would say a couple of things. We probably could have netted a little better miles per gallon on that highway section, the expressway section. We definitely spent some time standing at red lights when being in hybrid mode as opposed to power mode probably would have saved us some gas. Also, you know, my truck does have some a bit of off-road tires on it. That probably hurts a little bit, although not that I've seen significantly. Also, I forgot to take off the roof rails up there, so again, not a huge difference, but probably slightly. And even the rain, you know, that probably affected things a little bit, but not significantly. And there you go. Thanks for watching, folks.